Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tom Baker Show. It is great to be back with you, and hard to believe that we are ever so close at this point to the end of the calendar year. It's crazy to think that the holidays are basically upon us here, but that is where we are, and we keep rolling with motorsports conversation. We've got a very special guest today. He is the founder of SCU Motorsport in the UK. His name is Alan O'Neill, and Alan has a rich background in education, specifically motorsport education, and he has realized that there is a huge gap in what's being taught in terms of motorsports education for future crew members and engineers that are going to work with race teams at, in various divisions of racing. And he has set out to create something really cool to kind of fix that gap. And that is what we are here to talk about today. You're going to love, I think, what Alan talks about here and what he has built and is on the verge of launching. So, Alan O'Neill, welcome to the show. It is great to have you, first of all, and thanks for taking some time to join us. If you would, just give us a minute or two about your particular background so that we can kind of set the table for what led you to create this concept that you have in the first place.
Well, anyway, firstly, Tom, really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come and talk with you. So I've been involved in motorsports since I was about 8 years old. Been very lucky. Brought up around race cars. My father's friends sprinted cars. And he also rebuilt historic Maserati. I got involved, on the pit crew. Absolutely loved it. Decided that's where I wanted to be, and set out to pursue a career, in motorsport as an engineer. Did an apprenticeship. I built race cars myself. Built karts. Ran kart racing teams. And I got into my 40s and saw an opportunity to go and teach and give back some of the kind of skill sets and experience and inspire others to go into motorsport. So I took up a job at a local college, and, fair to say that, the college system in the UK is different from, what colleges are known are in the UK. I think you call them trade schools, but it was to deliver the hands-on practical skills. The guys who come running out in NASCAR, they come running out, change the wheels, refuel the car, and try and fix any of the damage. But then I think it was like a realization that the qualifications weren't delivering the skills needed. I found myself in front of students saying, that's the way you do it to pass your qualification, but that's the way you'll go and do it when you're working with a race team. And that kind of didn't sit right with me. The college I was actually teaching at were really good. They allowed us to build 2 racing cars. They funded us. And part of that process, I was teaching the students non-curriculum kind of things I'd learned when I did my apprenticeship, fabrication, welding. And we kind of come to the conclusion, I think it was like, I think all of the students said once they finished the program, they actually learned more from the non-curriculum activities than they did from, what was on the curriculum. And I just thought it shouldn't be like that. And so we set out a program that would, devise a program that would deliver the skills that they do need, and also that the motorsport sector wants.
So basically what the premise is here is that there's a difference between what a student is learning right now in terms of design and development and what they need to be learning, which is more of sort of a mechanics and maintenance side that they're not getting at a lot of the schools. And that's what you're trying to fix with your program, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've kind of hit on two areas there. So firstly, we, as I said, we were focused on what the UK college system, you guys call trade school. These are the kind of hands-on mechanics. So we're going to deliver the skills that they need. But we've also found from, in the UK, we call them universities, students turning up to do design development, but they've never actually picked a spanner up. So they don't understand the design envelope. They design a component that the mechanic, engineer either can't get their ratchet onto, can't get their screwdriver onto. And so the thing they've designed is not really practical for the kind of solution it was meant to develop. So what we're actually doing is introducing the kind of skill sets that they need, but we're also designing our own race car. For college level, they will kind of work on, prepare, set the car up, everything they would do if they were running in IndyCar, NASCAR, F1, those same sort of skills they need for the hands-on guys, but also take them that step further where if they want to go into design development, they will have a much more practical understanding of the size of a torque wrench, the size of a screwdriver, and so they understand the design envelope.
Okay, so you're working on giving them the complete 360-degree training that perhaps most schools, they're only giving right now a part of it. You're working on basically giving them a full 360-degree hands-on kind of program, right?
Yeah, and I think the 360-degree probably sums it up quite well. We're actually developing a full race series. So we're designing the car.
There we go.
And we will be encouraging the colleges to compete against each other. And so they're actually building experience in a true race environment. There is very few education programs that actually deliver at this level, and we have spoken extensively to motorsport teams, manufacturers, supply chain, trying to build an understanding of what they need in terms of skills, experience, and that's fundamentally how we built the program.
So you're basically not just giving them the classroom piece of this. You've actually built a race car. It's a prototype race car for a series that would find these colleges who are teaching your program competing against each other on the track and not just inside of the classroom.
Absolutely. And so just to clarify, we are working on the development of the prototype at the moment.
Right.
And one step that we've kind of not alluded to, one of the areas that we found when we were researching the program was neurodiverse learners were disadvantaged by the traditional education approach. So what we're doing is introducing a kind of digital environment, 3D virtual environment, where students will be able to log in, see our race car, take the car apart, understand how the systems work. They'll be able to press a brake pedal, see the fluid flow through the whole brake system, push the pistons out, push the pads onto the disc, and get an understanding of how these systems work. So it will be a phased kind of learning program where they'll understand theory, then they will go into the digital environment so they can practice in a safe environment. Then they'll go and work on a real car, but the top level of the qualification, they will only be able to achieve at the racetrack. So they've got to compete and build experience. And that's what the teams tell us they want. They want, and we had and I won't use the name, but a very famous American race team owner, we were talking to about 2018, and he said what we're doing would allow him to shape the mechanics rather than having to train them. And I think that's, kind of the level of interest we've been getting off, and you can see the accolades on the website, but we've got ex-F1 engineers saying, this is going to solve the problem. We know there's big issues all over the world in terms of finding mechanics with the right skills and experience. And, we set ourselves some ambitious goals. And, I'm passionate about motorsport, and we want to, give everyone the opportunity to learn the skills and get into motorsport as an engineer or mechanic.
So again, just to draw the picture for those who are watching this of what exactly it is that you're trying to create here and develop, it is a concept that I think a lot of us who've been around racing for a while, and especially on the inside of it, really have been thinking, why doesn't this happen now? Why isn't there a way for colleges? We have the Formula SAE type programs that a lot of the engineering schools have, but we don't have an actual real racing series that these colleges participate in and give their students time on real race cars. And I think a lot of us have been wondering, why haven't we done this yet? And this is essentially what your program is trying to do. It's trying to not only give a more complete educational process using the latest technology, but it's also designed to actually put them at the track, working on real cars, racing in a real series, and competing against each other, which to me is just incredibly exciting on a lot of levels.
Well, thank you. And as you rightly say, it's, we've had excellent feedback from a lot of the race teams, the manufacturers, who are saying, this is what's needed. It does reflect true motorsport. We will go wheel to wheel racing. This will be the first race series that focuses on training mechanics and engineers. And we're not saying that, it's a kind of closed channel in terms of development. We want to talk to other race series, other manufacturers, to find out what the skill sets, so we can build them all into the program, so that students will be understand racing in America, in Australia, in any country that's participating in motorsport.
And that's really, I think, a key too, is that your target here, or your desire, your goal for this is worldwide. It's not just the UK or the UK and the US or whatever. It's really to sort of plant this somewhere and start it, and then have it spread around the world, and not for any other purpose than to, you might say, correct some of the inefficiencies in what's being taught now, but also then to have this series now, which I think is an incredible concept. And now I've seen the picture of what the car is going to look like, but of course, for our audience, tell us a little bit about the race car that you've designed to use in this series. The prototype is being designed now, but tell us about the concept, because not only is it super affordable, but you're targeting zero emissions too, which I love. So tell us a little bit about the race car side of this and what you're planning on doing with that.
So the actual race car itself takes its styling cues from what we call fifth generation fighter aircraft. The F-22 Raptor is the inspiration for the design. And from a skill set perspective, what we've seen over the last even 18 months, that there's been so many changes within motorsport. We've seen the emergence of hydrogen, both as direct injection hydrogen and hydrogen fuel cell. So what we're doing is embracing green technology. We're going to offer the car. It will come with an internal combustion engine, but it will run on a green fuel. We're also going to have full electric, battery electric, hybrid, direct injection hydrogen, and hydrogen fuel cell. Now, for the more informed among your audience will know that the FIA, the world governing body, is looking at hydrogen racing. It's probably going to become mainstream in about 2028, 29, but we want to get ahead of the game. So we're building the program around the skill sets that are needed to work safely with hydrogen, so students have an understanding of what hydrogen is, how to create it, how to store it, and understand the systems so they're able to work on it. We're also developing the program. So for what we class as college level, we'll have they will buy the car if they want to go hydrogen fuel cell. They will buy it as a complete package with a hydrogen fuel cell. Whereas universities will be able to do research and development on hydrogen fuel cells. So what they will get is a rolling chassis, and they can develop their own hydrogen fuel cell. But what we're giving by having a race series allows them to develop that. And if the car fails at the first event, they've got 3 weeks, just like an F1 team, 3 weeks to understand what's gone wrong, do a redesign, test it, and get it out ready for the next race. And that's the key thing. We're making this like real racing. They will have pressures, time pressures that they have to keep to. And, you know, that's the ethos of the program.
Okay, so you're basically doing this series exclusively for universities and, you know, other institutions of training, basically. So this is not going to become something that, you know, some promoter or other can start a series with these cars. This is specific to your educational program, and it's designed purposefully to create a much higher level of experienced mechanic and knowledgeable mechanic and engineer to go into motorsport at any level once they're done with this program.
Absolutely. And, you know, our kind of unique selling point is that this will be the first race series that focuses on training mechanics and engineers. And that is our USP. And, you know, the point you made earlier is, yeah, we will validate the model in the UK, but that doesn't mean we will not take education establishments from, you know, America, Italy. We've already got interest from countries who want to be part of the first year. So yeah, we see this as we want to take it to any country in the world, any country that wants to adopt it. And you're right, we don't have objections to, you know, a big promoter coming in to support us, but we want it to have the ethos of it's a training program, and you know, our focus is training students, giving them the correct skills wherever they are in the world. And we're even going one stage further than that. You know, from a sustainability perspective, we want to create the program so the students will not only learn about things like sponsorship, finance, project management, logistics. So
there we go.
We are going to introduce, so where we have countries all over the world, we're going to have things like wildcard entries. So, you know, a a participant in America can say, right, I'm going to throw a wild card in and go and race at Silverstone in the UK, or we'll go and race in India or China or Australia, wherever it is, and we'll allow that. And the key thing, and this is the thing that, we want it established in every country, and then we want to have a World Cup shootout. And what that will consist of is, at the end of the year, we have the top 2 teams from every country. So the top 2 teams from every country, and then the following year, probably midway through the season, we will have a World Cup shootout. First year we'll run maybe Silverstone. So we invite the top 2 teams over, and they come and have a shootout to decide the top education college team, and they will get a big trophy, to say they are the best in the world. And then the following year we will rotate and maybe go to America or Australia, wherever it is. So that's the kind of, we really want this to go global. We want, teams, we want to encourage international competition, which, in essence replicates Formula One, European Le Mans, World Endurance, and we want them to be experiencing motorsport, mixing, sharing knowledge with their counterparts in other countries.
Incredible. I love this concept. We're going to step aside. When we come back, now that you know the what and the why, we're going to talk about the when and the how. More with Alan O'Neill about this revolutionary new concept right after this.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com. Welcome back to the show as we continue to talk with Alan O'Neill about a revolutionary new concept in motorsports mechanical education or technical education, if you will. We've talked about the concept itself. We've talked about kind of what's inside and what it includes. Now, Alan, I'd like to talk about how we actually bring this forward and make it reality and when we might be able to do that. So let's break this down. First of all, tell us where the whole kind of project is at right now, and then what is necessary, what needs to happen in order to actually take this forward.
So I think the key thing is to take this forward. We are looking for sponsorship, investment, technical partners, basically to get involved in the program. So from a technical partner perspective, we want parity of performance. So we are looking for organizations that want their products to be all over the world, in front of college students and university students all over the world. And what we'll offer is kind of exclusivity deals. So, if it was dampers, they would be fitted to every single car all over the world. They will feature in the training program, credit given to the organizations that, provide the products. And that's what we need. We need to finalize our technical partners. We have a number on board already, and we are currently out looking for investment. We are talking to some investors, and sponsorship. Any companies that sort of see the value of, being part of a growing, emerging program that is, when we talk about the levels of interest from countries in West Africa, South Africa, Turkey, India, Pakistan, Argentina, Brazil, as well as America, Canada, Australia, Italy, France, it goes on.
Okay.
And we have education establishments both here in the UK, in India, just waiting for this program, and we need investment sponsorship to move the project forward to a level where we can build the prototype. I've been with the engineering team today, who we are planning to be developing the prototype in partnership with, and that is what we need. We're kind of out now, as I say, looking for investment, sponsorship.
Okay.
So part of the program is we have, I suppose inadvertently, we never set out to do it, but we keep on being told by companies that we hit all the CSR targets. So we hit inclusion, we hit green technology, environmental, and we hit sustainability.
Good.
We know that there are, well, we think so as well. But it's because we've approached this with a kind of clean piece of paper, and we've looked at what we need, what individuals would need to almost stimulate an indigenous motorsport infrastructure in countries like Gambia, Sierra Leone, Mauritania, and these aren't just random countries that we're picking on. We have been approached by individuals. We know that Formula One is projecting itself into these countries, and it's stimulating interest in motorsport. But the thing is, they don't have infrastructures in place or training that's going to train individuals to give them skills to start that journey into motorsport. And we believe what we're doing can achieve that.
So I guess the question would be is how do you, or how could we connect the bridge? How do you build a bridge to Formula One? How how do we get Formula One excited about getting behind us and supporting it? And the same with other major series, because I feel like that would be a logical step for the Formula Ones, the WECs, the Indy cars, the British touring car, whatever. The major series should all be supporting this, because one, it's going to provide a far more complete mechanic who graduates from this, who has real world experience working on real race cars and using today's technology. So how do we reach those folks, and at the same time, how do we get even governments interested in supporting this? Because Lord knows the amount of jobs and so forth that can come out of this, and the STEM access, the STEM piece of this, training young people is incredible.
I wish I knew. We're currently talking to investors in Australia.
Okay.
There is a big move over in Australia to stimulate single-seater racing.
Nice.
And, you know, our program kind of fits that bill. But it's not just single seaters we're focused on. The long-term plan is to have an off-road buggy that will teach the skills they need for students need for rallying and off-road or rally raiding. And we're also going to move into the kind of bikes, because it's a different type of dynamic, a different type of mechanic skill. So we're going to cover all bases. And when you look at in the UK, it's something like £9.5 billion that motorsport engineering generates and delivers to support the GDP of the country. It's, you know, this is the sort of thing we want countries to think about. Whichever country we will talk to investment from different countries. It's the kind of thing where these skills are being taught to individuals who will be able to stimulate growth in engineering, in motorsport, and even in automotive. I mean, the skill sets that we will teach are transferable into things like defense, automotive, aerospace, and it's the sort of thing where we need to be stimulating interest in engineering.
That is, I want to talk. We're going to take another break. When we come back, I want to talk about that last statement about how this concept could actually affect other industries that are engineering related. But sit tight, Alan. This is awesome. We'll be back with more of the show right after this. For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
Welcome back to the show, and this has been a fun conversation with Alan O'Neill, because the concept behind what Alan is trying to do is, number one, we need to improve and develop more completely the mechanical skills, the design skills, the engineering skills of students coming out of a lot of the engineering schools, but the opportunity to eventually have these universities or colleges, whatever you call them in the country that we're in, to be able to compete against each other is even better. But then just before the break, Alan, you talked about something I hadn't even considered, which is the commonality of the skill set between motorsports and other engineering related industries. So can you elaborate for us a little bit about how the skills that the students could learn through your training would actually help them in other industries besides motorsports?
So I think one of the key elements with that is thinking on their feet. So you probably watch races NASCAR, IndyCar in the UK, British touring cars. And if they have an incident on track, the car is coming down the pit lane. So let's say it's got bits of bodywork hanging off, received a black and orange flag from the marshal saying, it's dangerous, you're not allowed to continue. They're coming into the pits, and the engineers are already thinking about what they need to do. So they'll jump on the car. We call it reactive engineering or botch engineering, and they'll jump on, they'll pop rivet, they'll gaffer tape, they'll cable tie bits back together to get the car back out straight away. So it promotes a different style of thinking. You've got to think on your feet. It makes you more agile. And it's the same with when a car fails at a racetrack. So in F1, if the car fails at an event, the team are looking for a solution straight away. So it does get you to think a lot more quickly, reactive, and looking for solutions. So it does get the mind thinking differently. But a lot of the skill sets, so we look at things like composites is a key part of, particularly F1, Indy, the kind of higher level. When they've got kind of composite skills, they're transferable into aerospace, defense. Same with, and we've just come back, done some great training with students in Turkey. And, I actively encourage them. Welding is one of the key skills, particularly the welding of exotic metals. These are transferable skills into automotive, into aerospace, particularly welding things like Inconel, which, the F1 teams use for exhausts. Extremely strong, extremely light, and it's a skill in itself. So there's a lot of the skills, data logging, data analysis, used in the automotive and aerospace sectors. So there's a lot of things that these skills, but some of the key ones that we alluded to earlier are the green tech skills. Aerospace, defense, automotive particularly are looking for the green skills. Sure. And this is being able to understand battery, electric vehicles, hybrids, hydrogen fuel cell. It's coming. We do watch the media and technology-based media to get an understanding. We know in the aerospace sector they're looking at solid-state batteries and electric motors for driving engines, and it's the same with hydrogen injection. So it's like a lot of the skills we want to embed them, and we know that say for motorsport, particularly at the higher levels, the engineers have a shelf life. And that's not for they will do in F1, they will do 6 years maybe of flying all over the world, doing their job, and then they just kind of think, I don't want this anymore, and they want to take a step back, go into a different area. And what we want is to give them the skill sets so they can go into automotive, go into defense, go into aerospace, and they have skill sets that they can use in other trades.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that aspect of it, but, even in the NASCAR world, we've seen NASCAR teams like Hendrick Motorsports, for example, that have divisions that are working in defense and building, things for that purpose. And, we've seen buildsubmarines.com, for example, is a big sponsor of Brad Keselowski and the RFK NASCAR team that, they're looking for people to get into that field and be able to build more subs. So this also has that aspect of providing a lot of the training necessary in terms of, the basic skills to be able to transfer into those industries, even if, motorsports is not your longtime desired home.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it more and more, particularly in America, where there seems to be a perception that, if you don't go and do a degree, you've not made it, and that's absolutely wrong. When I left school, I wanted to work with my hands. I was practical, and yes, I did go on to do a degree. But when I went to do my degree, I had understanding. When a tutor was talking about the theoretical thing of creating a thread and the kind of load on the on the tap and the sort of angles, the correct angles for cutting. I'd actually had a tap and a die in my hand and created threads on bits of steel. And there are people, we came across it in the college environment. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to work with their hands. Yes. And it shouldn't be it shouldn't be the society shaming them, saying, well, no, you need to go and do a degree,
I agree completely degree. Yeah, you're right.
To me, the trades are, it's great having all these people who are going to design cars and develop cars or systems, but without the people to support them, then they become white elephants. Once they break, if there's no one to repair it,
right?
They become white elephants.
Agreed.
And that is what is happening. That is what is happening.
Exactly right. I agree with that. And that's a great point to end on here. And now real quickly here, give us your website. How do people find out more about this program?
So the website is www.scu-motorsport.co.uk. Okay. We're also on LinkedIn. They can find me, Alan O'Neill, do a connection request. We've got our own page on LinkedIn, SCU Motorsport, easy to find. Drop me an email at Alan, ALAN.O'Neill, ONEILL without the apostrophe, at scu-motorsport.co.uk. And we'd be happy to hear from.
We're going to talk with Alan more. Going down the line here as we get things more developed. We'll keep y'all posted on what's going on here because I want to see this built and working. It's a great concept and it's something that needs to happen as soon as possible because number one, it just would elevate motorsport participation, I think, to a whole other level. And I agree with the larger precept. We've got to stop shaming young people for wanting to go into the trades and make it something that we encourage again, like we used to, because I went to get my transmission fixed a couple of years ago on my road car, and there were dealerships telling me they were 3 months behind in transmission work, not enough help. So, Alan, thanks for being a part of the show. We certainly appreciate it and wish you the best. And we're going to close things up here for more great content. SteeringWheelNation.com is the hub. 7 brand new writers just being brought on to Steering Wheel Nation. So we're going to kick some butt in the content department going forward here. And of course, at the Wheel Nation on Facebook and Instagram. So long, everyone.